A blessed Christmas season and Happy New Year to you all. It's my prayer that, whether you have traveled afar or remained close to home, gathered with many, a few, or yourself, struggled or been at peace, these holy days have been infused with God's love in both small and mighty ways. As the final hours of 2022 have gravitated toward history and 2023 has flung open its doors, I'm wondering, what does a new year mean to you? In these first days of this new year, as I've asked myself that same question, I've found myself wandering again through the writings and recordings of the Reverend Dr. Howard Thurman. In a 1962 recording titled A Salute to the New Year, Dr. Thurman reads from his collection of Meditations of the Heart. Addressing the distinction of past, present, and future, he begins with this assessment. There is always something impressive about a new start. Thurman proceeds to unravel, or perhaps knit together, I'm not quite yet sure, the sense of a continuum of the time that permits us to build upon what we have already done, and the defining aspects of time, such as days, months, and years, that permit us to place what is done in the past, what we are doing in the present, and what we hope to do in the future. There are pitfalls and benefits to both. Think how fortunate it would be, writes Thurman, if time was not somehow divided into parts. Suppose there were no artificial thing like months so that we could not be mindful of the passing of time. Suppose there were no years, just the passing of hours, with no signposts to mark them into units of months and years. Then there would be no new year. There's something so final, so absolute about a year that is gone. Dr. Thurman then goes on to reflect. It is always a fateful thing to stand at the beginning, or even to have a sense of beginnings. It means that there stretches out before us areas of living and thinking and experiencing that have not been explored by us, and with reference to which always there are the possibilities undreamed of. There is both overwhelmedness in facing a new year, and expectation and hope. There are things that feel as if they are left behind, and new possibilities. There's a past that we look upon from our present while pondering and preparing for what is next in our future. There's the opportunity to learn from what has been in order to do better or do differently moving forward. As we change our dates to 2023, we do so with an acknowledgement that 2022 has happened. We cannot change what has occurred. Some of it has been good and just and positive. For instance, strides were made in partially treating Alzheimer's disease. Advancements in moving toward renewable energy to meet the world's needs were significant. There are now more than enough solar panels installed to produce more than 1 terawatt of renewable energy. Engineers have developed solar panels that can generate electricity during the nighttime, and sales of gas-powered cars have been declining since 2017. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson became the first Black woman to serve on the U.S. Supreme Court. Efforts to curtail gun violence in the U.S. were on the rise, including students walking out of school in protest, high-profile business owners, music and acting stars, athletes and organizations donating funds and leading efforts to raise awareness and promote change occurred. Bipartisan political leaders were coming together to craft legislations to reduce the number of deaths by gun violence, and President Joe Biden signed a landmark gun violence bill into law. As rights of people who are LGBTQI were being attacked across the country, a bipartisan-supported bill, the Respect for Marriage Act, was signed into law by President Biden. But there is also no question that many things that occurred in 2022 were painful, harmful, and unjust, including attacks targeting children and youth of transgender and non-binary experience, their parents and caregivers, teachers, and medical care providers through state legislative measures denying gender-affirming care to minors, and criminalizing the people who make that care possible. A significant rise in gun violence, including mass shootings and suicide, resulting in a record number of gun-related deaths. The Supreme Court's overturn of Roe v. Wade, resulting in a crumbling of abortion rights in many states and the denial of the basic freedom for women to control their own bodies. Devastating weather-related disasters across the country and throughout the world, and continued denial by many corporations focused solely on profit margins as to the very real dangers and life-threatening effects of climate change. Book banning in several states to control what information people may obtain and manipulating the bandwidth of history to fit a specific narrative at the expense of truth and justice. The trick in New Beginnings is to glean from what we have learned in days gone by without getting stuck looking backward. There are many things we have done or experienced that we will want to change, or at least not to repeat. That can only happen moving forward. And there are many things to celebrate that have happened along the way, but they are not necessarily the be-all, end-all of what we can do to serve and love as Christ followers. In Howard Thurman's words, as we move into the new year, let us move into it face forward, greeting the future with hope and aspiration. Let us not back into the future, looking at the past, saying to ourselves that whatever the future may be, it cannot in any sense be as good as the past. No, the golden age is not in the past, was not yesterday. The golden age is tomorrow. Let us salute then the new year. Please join me as I pray this prayer by Reverend Thurman. Through the coming year, grant that I may pass through the coming year with a faithful heart. There will be much to test me and make weak my strength before the year ends. In my confusion, I shall often say the word that is not true and do the thing of which I am ashamed. There will be errors in the mind and great inaccuracies of judgment. In seeking the light, I shall again and again find myself walking in the darkness. I shall mistake my light for your light, and I shall drink from the responsibility of the choice I make. Nevertheless, grant that I may pass through the coming year with a faithful heart. May I never give the approval of my heart to error, to falseness, to vanity, to sin. Though my days be marked with failures, stumblings, fallings, let my spirit be free, so that you may take it and redeem my moments in all the ways my needs reveal. Give me the quiet assurance of your love and presence. Grant that I may pass through the coming year with a faithful heart. Amen.